I pick up that you're pretty disappointed with the evangelical church for turning out in so much support of President Trump. Now, I've said this before on our podcast and told lots of people that I did not vote for him in the first election nor in the second. I voted for Kanye in 2020. So I'm not a Trump defender, but I am curious what you think evangelicals should have done given the choice between Trump and Clinton and Trump and Biden. Do you think they should have voted for Biden? How should they have handled it? And what's your specific critique about those who voted for the president?
I don't know if I have a single specific critique because honestly, many of my family members voted for Trump in both elections. Many of my extended family.
Did they do that holding their nose, or did they do that enthusiastically?
It started out during the primary as some nose holding, and became enthusiastic. And it primarily became enthusiastic as the conservative media kind of painted a distorted picture of what was happening, what he was doing, what his policies were, so that I could sit down with someone and say, yeah, but aren't you concerned about his policies on refugees? And I'd find out that they've never heard of his policies on refugees because the right-wing media wasn't telling that story. So anything that was clearly unbiblical that he was doing in terms of policy was simply being ignored by right-wing media. And if you're in a right-wing media silo or if you were in a left-wing media silo, you never heard anything positive ever that he did or that any of his policies did. If you were in a right-wing media silo, you never heard anything negative in any of his policies. And that's, so I stopped watching cable news probably halfway through the Trump administration because it was just impossible to just get the facts.
That made your life better right there, stopping that.
It did make my life. What I do instead is I scan headlines, from a couple of different news feed apps and scan a couple hundred headlines a day just to get a feel for what's happening and how are different news outlets spinning it. Because I want to know what people are saying about the news from different views, because then you can kind of find the truth in the middle. My disappointment, and I wrote a piece on my blog that I later took down because it just proved to be too inflammatory.
See what I'm saying? You like to break the rules. You like controversy.
No,
and you're telling me you don't enjoy it, but Sky does. Come on, man.
I don't. But I just said, we just went from the first African-American president in our history to the first president in recent memory who received a full-throated endorsement of the KKK. As evangelical Christians, I think we owe an explanation to our non-white Christian brothers and sisters, what we just did.
Okay, that's powerful. And I don't disagree. Remember, I didn't vote for him. But I didn't vote for either candidate. Right. Kanye.
Right.
I still want to know what you think people should have done because I have Christian friends who love Jesus, and some of them voted for Hillary, some of them abstained, some of them voted for Trump. And probably the majority of my friends voted for Trump. Mostly, I think, with their nose held, some maybe enthusiastically. But I think they would look at you and go, okay, but I had these choices. What did you want me to do? And then I voted for him, and now you beat me up.
You had more than two choices.
So you would say vote for a third party candidate?
You had, yeah. Some people say that's throwing your vote away. I'm with David French, who's on our show quite often, a really good conservative thinker, a lifelong Republican, and also a never Trumper, who said if a significant number of people are rejecting both major party candidates, the parties will get the message. And eventually they'll realize maybe we need to put forth candidates that aren't detestable by so many, to so many people. And so, you don't have to vote for one of the major party candidates. You can send a message to say, I find both of these people. I mean, David French's metric was he debated
Eric Metaxas.
Fascinating debate, the David French, Eric Metaxas debate at John Brown University on whether or not a Christian should support Donald Trump. And his point was the number one thing is character. The number two thing is policy. If there isn't a candidate that meets your number one of character, don't vote for any of the candidates and just complain. Just say, this is stupid. that we're not even putting up a candidate that has the basic fundamental character necessary, and whether you decide that Joe Biden has character or whatever, that say, okay, he has enough. I think he has just enough character. Now let's go to the policies. Do you find the policies acceptable? If the answer there is no, okay, don't vote. Don't vote for either one of those. Vote for a third party, write in your dog, protest. This is dumb, and make noise about it.
I completely agree.
Make noise about it.
I love David French. I completely agree. That's the position that I took. I think somebody's got to earn my vote. I don't have to vote for the two yahoos put in front of me.
Make them earn your vote. But because we fell into this partisan mindset that if the candidate from my party doesn't win, the country is going to be destroyed.
Right. Fear is easy to sell.
Yes. So that basically means you have to vote for anyone that your party, and this is on either side, whether you're a Democrat or a Republican or a Green Party or whatever, if you are that enslaved to this notion that the other side wants to ruin America, and only your side loves or cares about your country, you have no choice. You literally have no choice.
Well, that's kind of the definition.
You're also believing a lie, because the differences are over policy. They're not over intention. One side is not evil and the other side is not good. They're both evil and good.
And I think in some sense that's the definition of tribalism, that you don't vote for something, you vote against someone, right? I don't pick my tribe based on beliefs. I pick my beliefs based on the tribe. First, I pick my tribe, then I pick my reasons for voting for this or that candidate.
Yeah. Well, the number of Bible believing, Jesus loving Christians that want fewer immigrants let into America. Well, what does the Bible say about immigrants? How are we supposed to? What's our attitude supposed to be toward immigrants? Well, you build a wall and you keep them out. No, I don't. But because of it's part of this package that our tribe has adopted, it's part of the package. So, conservative white evangelicals in 1996 were the religious group in America most committed to the idea that character counts in leadership. In 2016, they became the least concerned group in America about character and leadership. Literally, when asked, how important is this? They went from, this is the most important, and we think it's more important than any other group, to this is not important at all. And we think it's less important than any other religious group in America. So that's how much tribalism and partisanship has compromised how we read the Bible and apply it to our daily lives.